for you and for this collective group, he cannot do if you're not fully engaged. All right? And this is, the reason why I know this is going to be a special weekend is because I'm here. And I don't mean here as a speaker. I mean I'm here in terms of my presence. Because my son will tell you, I'm in the type of relationship, I've been married over 21 years. I'm in a kind of relationship where I don't like to leave home. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm not trying to leave the crib to sleep with a bunch of dudes. And listen to what I'm trying to say, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm just telling you, I don't like to leave my wife. When my wife goes to work in the morning, 7:30 to 8, we talk on our way to work. At lunch, we talk every day at lunchtime. When she's on her way home, 5 o'clock to 5:30, if she ain't on the phone with her mama or her girls, we talking on the phone. When she gets home, we go walking together. You hear what I'm saying? I wish she would just quit her job so we can be together 24/7. So it's not my thing. Like, my thing is not to leave my wife and come and be with a group of brothers over the weekend that I don't know. That's not my thing, right? Calls me from my wife and calls me to a phenomenal weekend like this is because he's got some up his sleeves. Because he wouldn't do me like that. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't take me from my wife to make me waste my time. So, but what you got to hear what I'm saying is that some people are going to leave this place and they're going to be pumped up and fired up and changed forever. And some people might just walk away from this room because you're already deep like that. And so I need you to really, really get yourself prepared, because one of the things I've learned as an educator, I have learned that the places where I do my least work and where Jesus did his least work is among his own people. That's where Jesus did his least work at, among the people that he grew up with and who knew him, because they felt like, the Pharisees felt like they already knew everything. Like, who's my man? Like, we already studied. We got this thing down pat. We know when the Messiah is coming. We got this whole thing down pat. We teach other people when Jesus is coming. And then Jesus came himself, and they didn't even recognize him. The Sadducees and the Pharisees didn't even recognize who he was when he came because they knew too much. And guess who got the most information? Jesus never said about the Pharisees, wow, I've never seen this much faith. He never said that about Pharisees and Sadducees. He said that about people that didn't supposed to know him. The people that blew his mind are the people that you wouldn't think were supposed to blow his mind. And so for real, it's not every presentation, I need you to get yourself in a place where when you walk away from this place, listen to me, God is doing some phenomenal things in my life. And I can tell you, I know where it started. Look, no disrespect against Elder Ward. Elder Ward was a good guy. Elder Ward was a great preacher. But it wasn't until I sat under Dr. James Doggett that my life changed. And when I sat there, I'm like, wow, I ain't never heard this before. When I first joined the church, they were talking about 27 doctrinal beliefs. That's all they was talking about. Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat cheese, don't eat meat. I was checking all that stuff off. I'm good. I can do that. Don't eat pork, got it. I'm good. Don't eat beef, got it. I'm good. Eat grillers instead, bam. I at the store. I can buy those. I'm good. I was checking it off. But the 27 doctrinal beliefs never got to the core of who I really was. A kid with a low self-esteem, a kid who felt abandoned because his father wasn't in his life. A kid who was married at 19 and didn't know how to be a husband. I didn't get that stuff. I got that 144,000 literal, figurative. That's the stuff that they was giving me when I was going to Oakwood College. No disrespect, it was some good stuff spiritually, but I wasn't transformed. I had more knowledge, which is dangerous. When you give a person who's sick more money, when you give a person who's sick more knowledge, they just use it to be sicker. Somebody educated Hitler. That was the worst thing you could do. Hitler was a vegetarian if you didn't know about it. So he was going to be around for a real long time doing the stuff he was doing. He was healthy. He was going to be here for a minute. But then I sat under Dr. James Doggett, and he started talking about stuff that I was dealing with, that how to be a man to your wife. I've never heard nobody talk like that. I heard him talk about stuff. I'll never forget a sermon he did about how women just can't For real, a woman can't work full time and do other stuff. Like emotionally, she's just not wired like that. Changed my mind. It changed the way I looked at my wife. And so I don't know about you, but I didn't just come to speak. I'm taking notes when I leave too because I need to be changed. And so that's what this weekend is about. I call it an upgrade. This weekend about an upgrade. That if you just that guy, when you leave here, you just need to take it up to another level. If you hadn't even never started, you need to get started. And if you kind of like borderline, then you need to just say, I'm going to get from the borderline boy, and I'm ready to give 120%. But listen, before I get started, you got to understand. Now, that's why when I know God brings me to a place, I'm just going to keep it real. When God brings me to a place, it's not status quo. And it's nothing against status quo. But that's just not the job I do. I'm like Green Beret. When you send me to a city, it's some problems. When I go into an urban school and speak, I'm not going to talk to the good kids. They bringing me in because Johnny don't sit down. And the teacher don't know how to get him to sit down, so you bring me in so I can educate you. Look, I'm not playing, and the reason why I'm not playing is because when you got a home that's messed up or a community that's messed up or a society that's messed up, all you got to do is get to the root of it. Some male who's supposed to be doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's not in place. I didn't get to being a high school dropout because my daddy was in my life. I wasn't homeless because my father was where he was supposed to be, when he was supposed to be there, doing what he was supposed to do. I didn't get to Oakwood College with a GED because my father was a model. I just released my first book. My wife said, you sure you want to take your son out of school? I said, yeah, he's got to go with me. He's got to see the process, not the book. He got to see the process. He's got to take the long ride to Cleveland. He's got to go in the plant and walk around the plant. He's got to see me take 500 books that were pre-ordered and see me sign every last one of them. No, I'm not getting a stamp because I promised them an autograph. And so he's got to watch me do 500 because I got to get on a plane to come here. And I got 2 hours to get these books to these people because the post office closed at 5. He's got to see that. He's got to see God take his father from struggling at Oakwood, taking 12 years to get a 4-year degree, to now seeing dad sign the books. He got to see the process. He got to see the process. It's not the product that he got to see, because if you see the product, that's not going to help him. He's got to see the process. So when he gets to that place with God where he don't know what to do, he can draw back like David. David said, I got this a piece of cake. What y'all worried about? This is a piece of cake. This ain't but a giant. I took the lion out. I've been through the process. I took the bear out. I've been through the process. When I sat under Dr. James Doggett, man, I'm telling you, he gave me the process. I had never got the process before. I just got some Veggie Link stories. Somebody told me if I eat Veggie Links, I can go to heaven. And I wish it was the truth, because I was eating them. I was wishing it was the truth. I was eating Big Franks, hoping that Big Franks would change my character. But I didn't know that my father wasn't in my father's father wasn't in his life. My father wasn't in my life, and Grillers wasn't going to help that. I joined this church thinking my father was a player, my grandfather was a player, none of them took care of their kids, and I'm going to be all right because I joined this church and they baptized me. I'm good now. The lust's going to be gone. The charisma, I'm going to use it. I ain't going to have no problem. I got baptized, and the more knowledge I got, the more messed up I realized I was. God said you're going to have to do something about that. So I didn't come to preach because you got preachers already here and you got a good one. I want to give you a frame because everything they're going to be saying this week, I want to give you a frame. I want to give you a frame to think about this thing, all right? And God told me to just say it like this. Some of y'all ain't going to understand it, but I mean, you may not appreciate it, but I'm going to say it because one of the things about education is you need things to stick with you. It doesn't make sense to hear a message. All right, now listen to me. Knowledge is not power, and you hear people saying that. That's not the truth. Knowledge is not power. If knowledge was power, people wouldn't have AIDS. Knowledge ain't power. If knowledge was power, people would have a good relationship. Let me tell you something. I'm not happily married. I'm marital bliss. What's the difference between me? I went to Oakwood. It's 90% of the people I went to school with, I'm telling you, they way more smarter than me. But that's the thing I love about God. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power.
Some people like you think money pours like rain. Money pours like rain. Right into the pocket, on the left and on the right, into your bank account, and in the center, into your life. Money can pour like rain. You can always think about